I'm Jeff Hunt. He's Bill Thorpe. Is Greenland really just about the Nobel Prize?
Could they just give him a different medal?
Maybe this all could have just been solved if he had gotten the Nobel Peace Prize. Well, here's a letter Donald Trump has written to the Prime Minister of Denmark. Dear Jonas, considering your country decided not to give me the Nobel Peace Prize for having stopped 8 wars plus, I no longer feel an obligation to think purely of peace, although it will always be predominant, but can now think about what is good and proper for the United States of America. Denmark cannot protect the land from Russia or China. And why do they have a, quote, right of ownership, unquote, anyways? There are no written documents. It's only that a boat landed there hundreds of years ago, but we had boats landing there also. I have done more for NATO than any other person since its founding, and now NATO should do something for the United States. The world is not secure unless we have complete and total control of Greenland. Thank you, President Donald J. Trump. Whoa, Billy! I could see the steam coming out of his ears right now.
Crazy. that is the sort of letter I would expect to get from a petulant 5th grader. It is so wrong and demonstrates such a complete misunderstanding of the role of NATO that it starts with some boneheaded premises. And then my favorite, and this is a reference to earlier when we talked about people going to protest and pulling a hammer and then hitting themselves in the face for effect. That's what he does. He then in the story, he's in that complaint letter, turns around and goes, yeah, and pow, watch me punch myself in the face and look like a complete idiot. That's embarrassing. That letter, there's a level in that one that is just embarrassing for America.
No, he is unleashed.
That's one way to put it.
He's done dealing with the global elites. They were never going to give him the Peace Prize, so why does he care about peace anymore? Woo, we're going to have a lot to talk about now.
I know. And if his motivation, if the only motivation he had to look for peace was based on a trinket someone would give him, that shows a different moral failure.
We have a lot to cover, including Barack Obama's participation. Peace Prize. We'll get to all this and more. Now it's time for the news.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Good Monday morning, 25 and sunny in Denver, expecting a high of 44 today. News sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story, Russian President Putin is being invited to join DJT's Board of Peace. The board is being formed to implement the U.S. brokered peace plan between Israel and Hamas, and countries are being asked to pay $1 billion for membership on the board, with funds set to go toward rebuilding Gaza. Russia says they're studying the proposal. The UK, Canada, Egypt, Brazil, Turkey, and Argentina and India have also been asked to join the board. And in case you didn't hear this story, at least 39 people are dead after a high-speed train crash in Spain.
Rescue teams working through the night to evacuate survivors, some climbing through shattered windows of derailed cars, others filing through darkened carriages to emergency exits.
The train came off its track Sunday evening local time and then crashed into another high-speed train, leaving dozens injured as well.
When this guy ran against me, he ran a complete smear campaign against me. I ran an above-board, clean race. I did not attack anybody.
Former Aurora City Council member at large, Danielle Jurinsky, on with Jeff and Bill this morning. The man who defeated her in the most recent election, City Councilman Rob Andrews, facing charges after being pulled over on South Chambers Saturday night. Charges include suspicion of DUI, driving with excessive alcohol content. He was held overnight and released Sunday on a summons. Jurinsky wants him to be held accountable.
It hasn't come out yet, but here's what I will tell you from folks that were at the party where he was at. He was being asked to stop drinking by other Democrats. He was being asked to stop drinking. He was being asked to please leave his truck and take an Uber. So when this comes out, when his BAC comes out, I'm certain it's going to be very high.
And Jurinsky says there's plenty more information about Andrews coming out soon. We do not know what his blood alcohol content level was when they pulled him over. A popular record store in Capitol Hill dealing with major damage after someone was caught on camera setting a fire outside the shop. Wax Trax Records co-owner Pete Stidman says that this is at least the fifth time fires have been set near the business.
We need to, get those people some help. We need to figure out who they are, those, because, they're also putting other people's lives and livelihoods at risk.
Step Denver is always the answer in that situation. Step Denver. Security video from the store on 13th Avenue shows a man lighting a dumpster fire around 2 Saturday morning, knocking out power to the building. The store did reopen Sunday, but is running on generators right now. The Bills lose to the Broncos over the weekend, and the Bills head coach Sean McDermott has been fired this morning. He won't get to enjoy those brand new digs in Buffalo next season. The Broncos play host to the Patriots this Sunday in the AFC Championship game, 1 o'clock at Mile High, but they lose quarterback Bo Nix for the remainder of the season.
Not good news. On the second to last play in overtime, Bo fractured a bone in his right ankle. He's scheduled to have surgery Tuesday of this week, which will put him out for the rest of the season.
So Drake May and the Patriots in town. Jarrett Stidham, not Stidman, the co-owner of Wax Trax, he takes over at quarterback. 4 starts. He's played in 20 games, never played in a playoff game.
1 and 3. He's
1 and 3.
1 and 3, Blake.
They will never expect him to be that good.
Guys.
No, they'll never expect him. He's going to just surprise everybody. He's
That's
laying
right.
in the weeds.
Barney said it best. It's all about this coaching staff is going to prove how good they are. Coming up, this is a coach's nightmare or a coach's dream to prove how great you are as a staff. Lean on the defense, shorten the game, put him in situations where he can be successful, use all the other athletes around him, try to get ball in space, let these guys do what they do best, see if he can go downfield 3 or 4 times, stretch the defense if possible on certain occasions so they can run the football and see if that defense can win an AFC championship game at home. Sam
You're
Ellinger.
so reasonable, Blake. It's kind of now, Billy. I got to ask you: was the crowd, were they really helpful?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they are.
Because that's going to be a big component.
Yes. Yeah.
Is how helpful can the crowd be?
And what it is, and for the crowd, the helpfulness is obviously disrupting the other team's offense. So it is the loud. It is getting loud again. And as Coach Sean Payton said, inside the huddle, you got to start a little bit earlier. Before it was always line of scrimmage. Now the football people have figured out that if we scream and yell, they can't necessarily get the call inside of the huddle as well. So you're not just looking at snap count. So you got to scream a little bit louder. But yeah, there were times in that game that it was as loud as it was during the Peyton Manning and the Elway years. It was really neat to see. And Broncos country has got to show up because it seems very weird about the idea of home field advantage. And I think in some sports, it matters more than others. And I think in football, it is one of the ones in which it matters the most because the crowd can be effective in making sure the other team can't do what it wants and also lifting the team up. and kind of pushing them to have a little more energy. And the idea of that is you're on that field. You've got 78,000 people screaming. You can go half speed? You're going to sit there and go, well, no, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. So that's the idea, too, is it can lift you. There are certain things like in baseball, I don't think it has as much of an impact. But in something like football, I think it can be. Is it a game changer? Not all the time, but it can change just enough plays over the course of a game to make a difference.
Sure can. Communication, cadence, snap count. They did a great job. You could hear it at Mile High. I mean, it was quiet while they were on offense. After a play, you can explode and then just keep it. I mean, all the crowds, do a pretty good job of that. Seattle, they do a great job. Their home field advantage. Got to make it comfortable for the offense and then uncomfortable for the offense from the other team, and they did that.
Yeah. What I miss is you miss the Mile High Thunder, the rumble of Mile High Stadium. You don't have that. It was there during the first couple of years in the new stadium, but the fans don't do it anymore, and it's hard to sit there and get anybody around you to do it if the whole stadium is, because the sound.
Yeah, that's
there.
unfortunate.
Yeah,
man, the feet pounding.
Yeah.
Of the East stands and the
back in the day, yeah.
Oh, goodness.
It was like, you'd feel like the entire part of the stadium was going to come down.
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
Now, I have heard a lot of broadcasters this year saying that they're feeling it move, so that's good.
Oh, yeah. It was
I
moving.
mean, the old stadium, we'd be in the press box and that thing. I mean, I was like, I don't know if we're safe up here. I'm serious.
I can't listen to the radio broadcast of that other station.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I can't because the audience noise is so loud.
Oh, really?
Interesting.
I don't know if you guys.
That's an interesting mix. Yeah,
I'll listen while I'm driving around.
Yeah.
But and I understand you want to have a little bit of the audience noise there, but it is so overwhelming. I can't understand what Dave and the other guys are saying.
That's interesting because that's a crowd mix issue because they do have crowd mics. In fact, let's take a little walk down memory lane with Bill for a little bit. When Bill was younger and the Rockies hosted the All-Star break, ESPN might have come in to our broadcast booth to use it for the break and disconnect a lot of microphones. So about 15 minutes from the very next day in which the Rockies are about to play, we are scrambling to try to figure out what is going on and putting these mics back together. In fact, there's a current city council member, Max Brooks, who's a Republican city council member. He was the engineer on that game. He and I screaming back and forth going, oh my God, I have no crowd noise. What's wrong with this? Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He and I, and listen, you know when everything was connected and was when they were singing the national anthem. We were 35 seconds away from broadcast.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a little inside conversation I had with Charlie Kirk because Charlie was a football savant. He played football, but he was like this stats pro, right? And you remember when Peyton Manning and all these guys were coming out with the alternative broadcasts? Like you could tune in. And watch.
Manning brothers and
I was like, Charlie, why don't you do this, man? It would be so fun. You'd get every conservative to tune in and listen to Charlie Kirk call a game. Wouldn't that be awesome? It never materialized.
That would be kind of fun.
I encouraged him to try to do it.
There is something they do. BBC does this. And I thought that the NFL should be hanging on to this one, and they really should. They have, and it's not for every game, but for the featured game of the week, they bring in one fan from one club, and they bring in another fan from another club, and they give them both a little bit of alcohol. Not a lot, but a little bit of alcohol. And then you listen to the game with them. And so it is like sitting on the couch with your buddy, but you also have someone from the other team there, and they scream and yell about everything that you scream and yell about when you're sitting on the couch. It is one of the most entertaining broadcasts to listen to. Now, they're cordial to each other, but it is really funny to listen, and it is highly entertaining. Yeah, and I'm sorry the NFL hasn't done something like that.
I'm going to disagree with Jeff. As much as I love Charlie Kirk, I would not have listened to that, and I wouldn't have enjoyed it because they did with Rush Limbaugh. They did with Rush Limbaugh, and it hit like a lead balloon. I don't, because
they tried to do football with Rush? I don't remember that.
Rush was in
he was a Monday night guy for a while.
Yeah, Monday Night Football.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I mean, that's great.
What about Candace Blake?
That would be fascinating.
She could be talking about how the Jews are changing the game in the Egyptian helicopters or messing with the flow of the past, whatever. Who knows?
That may actually be pretty good.
That would be funny. That would be really funny. She's going all Buffalo Wild Wings. You know, they got the control board and they can do it based on it. Yeah, that's great. That'd be good.
There you go. All right, you're on to something there. Maybe that'll happen. I mean, nobody hates her right now. Okay. Let's see. What do we have here? I don't even. You know what? I got.
Took you all off track.
I took all off. Okay. All right. I'm going to send it back to you. I have no idea. What's the temperature out there right now? It's in
Cold.
the 26 degrees. All right. And you are listening to Jeff and Billy. And I'm going to send it back to them. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
There will be some areas of light snow showers and flurries early in the day. Otherwise, partly cloudy. The highs will be upper 30s. Clear tonight. Lows low to mid-20s. Sunny to partly sunny and warmer. Low to mid-50s Tuesday. Lower 50s Wednesday. Highs will be in the 40s Thursday. Nights will be mostly in the 20s. Changing weather, though. We're going to see an Arctic front push in for much colder temperatures heading on into Friday and Saturday. Maybe some chances of light snow as well. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Trump out writing some love letters to the prime ministers of different countries. Now, a reminder, this is the prime minister of Norway that he sent this to.
Oh, okay. So it's
Not
Norwegian.
Denmark.
Okay. Then why is he complaining about
Norway.
Greenland?
Because he sees it all combined. He says to the people of, but is it Sweden that gives out
The thing is that
the
it's
Nobel Peace Prize? Who gives this thing out?
The Norwegian Parliament is the group that picks the people that then choose who the So that's the thing is but it's the Norwegian Parliament. The Norwegian Prime Minister would necessarily not have any say so as far as who's on there. But yet again. Trump's a giant 5-year-old in this entire screed. It's just, again, he's standing there yelling and complaining about things that did not happen and can't happen. It's
You gotta
embarrassing.
get on the Trump train. America's getting better because and we don't care what anybody says.
If better is misidentifying the process and complaining about things that are
We're
dumb and
gonna
stupid.
end up with a whole nother country attached to us. It's colonialism at its finest, Bill.
Yeah, that's great. That's
Dear
worked out so well.
Jon Haas. So this is the message he sent to the Prime Minister of Norway. Considering your country decided not to give me the Nobel Peace Prize for having stopped 8 wars, plus I no longer feel an obligation to think purely of peace, although it will always be predominant, but can now think about what is good and proper for the United States of America, Denmark cannot protect that land from Russia or China. And why do they have a, quote, right of ownership, unquote, anyways? Well, if we're going to allow one country to colonize, why not allow America to colonize, right? He continues, there are no written documents. It's only that a boat landed there hundreds of years ago, but we have boats landing there also. I have done more for NATO than any other person since its founding, and now NATO should do something for the United States. The world is not secure unless we have complete and total control of Greenland. Thank you, President DJT. Man, he's going pedal to the metal here.
Yeah, in an embarrassing way. Floor it right into the wall.
These are the same people that gave Barack Obama a Nobel Peace Prize.
Flooring it right into the
Why
wall.
do we care what they think
here's
anyways?
The thing.
They clearly can't pick out peaceful
Here's the
people.
issue. It's not these people. The Norwegian Prime Minister doesn't get a vote. As far as I understand the process, the Norwegian Prime Minister doesn't get to vote at all.
No, but he's critiquing the Norwegian country.
The Norwegian country, but the Norwegian
who are
country,
a bunch of dopes who thought that Barack Obama should get the Nobel Peace Prize.
The Norwegian country doesn't get a vote, nor does the Norwegian country get to choose who gets the medals. It's people chosen by their parliament. So it's basically a committee, not a representative.
Procedural.
Again, not a thing of Norway. No Norwegian citizen got a chance to vote on it. No, and again, but this is how asinine this demand by Trump is, the idea that your country didn't give it to me. Pardon me? The country doesn't hand it out per se. They're not in control of it. It's a different group. But he doesn't even understand that. And then he's complaining to the prime minister to a guy that doesn't have it.
You're arguing a distinction without a difference.
No.
The people
when you're in charge
of Norway
the country, when you're
are choosing the wrong people when it comes to peace, Donald Trump feels freed. He's like, you know
Donald Trump
what?
feels aggrieved over something that he's wrong about.
I'm done trying to appeal to the people who can't figure out the peace prize anyways, because they gave it to Barack Obama because he was born. It's the largest participation prize ever given out in the history of the world. Then the guy goes on to bomb 20 countries or whatever. Donald Trump stops 8 wars plus, and they won't give him the Nobel Peace Prize, so he doesn't care anymore. He's like, whatever. Whatever you guys, you can sit there and stomp your feet. We're going for Greenland. They're already colonized by somebody. Might as well be colonized by us, and we'll do a better job.
Yeah, I love the fact that, this is, the Peace Prize awful, and it's only a participation trophy for a Barack Obama, but, Trump really, really wants it because it means something. So it doesn't mean anything because Barack Obama gets it and the circumstances, but it means everything in the world to Donald Trump. Can't be both. It either is completely and totally insignificant in a participation medal for a bunch of people because they like each other, or it's significant and Trump needs one and deserves one. If not, does Trump deserve a participation medal?
I think Trump cared about it, and he's done caring. He's a scorned lover at this point.
Yeah, and the best part about that is he's done caring, and so he says, and maybe I shouldn't care about peace as much. Basically, he's threatening military or aggressive action because he didn't get a pretty little bauble that he can hang on his wall or around his neck. That is narcissism and authoritarianism on a different level. I didn't think he had that in him, but obviously he does, because this country that isn't responsible for giving out the prize didn't give him a prize that he thinks he's entitled to, and then he goes and he's threatening.
Bring more
he's
world
threatening.
Peace.
No.
This move by Trump to get Greenland is going to improve world peace, and you're standing in the way because of your DJT. Your Trump derangement syndrome.
It'll crush NATO and possibly crush the American economy if the fallout is what I think it might be. And that would be incredibly dangerous. Donald Trump doesn't understand.
We're the big dogs. We get to choose. And they can't run. You've seen it with the tariff debates.
No.
You know they can't operate without America.
Why?
So they need us more than we need them.
No, not necessarily.
They're
Why are we the world's
Russia?
Why are we the world's reserve currency? In part because of NATO and because our position because of NATO. If we don't have that position anymore, how and why would we ever be the world's reserve currency? If the EU begins to cut us off and treat us more as a aggressive or hostile trading partner, what happens the day if we go in and just invade Greenland or just annex it because he wants to colonize it for whatever reason? What do we do with all our military bases in the EU? They don't stay open. We violated the terms of NATO. Those close. They close. And so we don't have that footprint. We don't have the ability to express our power throughout the rest of the world. I mean, do you understand the dominoes that fall?
They need
the dominoes that fall.
No, it's scary. It's scare situations that this is all going to fall apart. It's not. It's not. NATO needs us. They're terrified of Russia. They can't handle Ukraine without us. We all know
I'm not the one.
That's right. If we walk away, then Putin's just going to march right through Poland. So they absolutely need us. They're not going to walk away. Trump can manage Greenland better. America can manage Greenland better than they can. He's going to bring about greater peace, greater control of the Arctic, which is important. So I think it's the right move. Give us a call. Join the conversation. 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Capitalist Law text line, 720-819-5115. Look, from city streets to mountain trails, your gear should go wherever life takes you. And that's why at Modern Rugged Leather, every bag is handcrafted from premium, responsibly sourced leather. Designed to look sharp, last long, and tell a story of its own. Guys, I use this. This is my daily bag, and it's beautiful. It's the best leather bag I've ever had. Absolutely durable. Each stitch, buckle, and strap reflects timeless craftsmanship and is backed by a lifetime guarantee, because quality shouldn't quit when the adventure begins. So whether it's the boardroom or the back roads, Modern Rugged Leather helps you carry confidence every step of the way. Modern Rugged Leather. Modern style, timeless durability, backed for life. Life takes you places. Make sure your gear keeps up. Shop the full collection and find yours today at modernrugged.com. Again, that's modernrugged.com. We'll continue with your phone calls and texts. Cap Hill Phil, why should an American president care about a European medal? I think he feels like there's been an injustice, Cap Hill Phil, that Barack Obama, who liked to bomb a lot of other countries and get us into wars, gets a Nobel Peace Prize. But the guy who solves 8 wars, brings about lots of peace, doesn't. It's an injustice there.
Yeah. Tell me you're a narcissist without telling me you're a narcissist.
Peach Queens looking into how this works. The ceremony takes place in Stockholm because I was present at the center the day it was announced in 2017. Cool. Wow, very interesting. All right, Lynn, Evergreen, we'll get to you next. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
New Year!
Let's go. Loser! You're a loser!
The Losers Club.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Billy, I'm heading down to Durango today.
Yes, you're traveling.
All the way down there. Going to be
trip.
speaking to the Southwest Republican Women's Club tomorrow.
Oh, how cool.
After lunch. So, if you're around that part of town, we'd love to see you. Hang out with the Southwest Republican Women of Colorado. They're on swrepublicanwomen.com. swrepublicanwomen.com. If you're down there and want to join us for lunch tomorrow, Tuesday, in Durango, we'd love to see you. It'll be a ton of fun. We always do. We make fun of Democrats. There's a lot to be made fun of these days that they do here in Colorado, so it'll be entertaining. I promise you that. All right. Text messages hot on DJT's love letter to the Prime Minister of Norway. You go, wait, Norway, Denmark, wait, all these countries. I'm confused. What is going on here? It has to do with Greenland, which is occupied by Denmark, but he's writing a letter to Norway, basically saying, I don't feel an obligation to be peaceful really much more, since you decided not to give me the Nobel Peace Prize. You gave Barack Obama the Peace Prize, and he went out and bombed a bunch of countries, so obviously peace isn't the requirement. So I'm just going to start taking the country, because I can manage it better than Denmark can, and definitely better than NATO. Look at the way you guys are handling Ukraine. Flipping out, going, if America doesn't help us, Putin's going to march right through to Poland. So he doesn't feel like NATO is responsible enough to manage Greenland. He thinks the United States is absolutely the right one to protect against China, Russia, and what may happen in the Arctic. Do you agree with him? Or is this a deranged man putting us on a suicide mission, trying to take over another country? What is going on? Let's go to Lynn in Evergreen. Good morning, Lynn. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Oh, good morning, Jeff and Billy. Oh, he's not going to take over Greenland. You know, he's going to negotiate. You know he's going to do that, you know. But he's right. I mean, we need that for our defense. But I'm going to that was not the point of my call. The point of my call was, who cares if NATO doesn't like this? Who cares if Trump doesn't get the Nobel Peace Prize? I mean, those were established back in the day when, you know, after World War II, you know, we needed NATO, National Alliance Treaty Organizations, to say, let's not let Hitler ever happen again. Okay? And the Nobel Peace Prize, I don't know when that came about, but still,
1901.
It's okay.
1901 is when the Peace Prize came about. It was established in 1895. It looks like it was first awarded in 1901. Bill, Lynn's saying we don't need NATO anymore. Do you agree with that?
No.
Yeah,
you didn't let me finish. You didn't let me finish. You did not let me finish. You know, at one time, maybe we wanted that, needed that, sounded like a great idea. It was a big deal, global enterprise, but not anymore. You know, just like the EU that failed in, 2020? I mean, they thought that was a good idea, but, I mean, they've been taken over. They've been taken over by...
Now, hold on a second. What do you mean by the EU failing? Because, I mean, the EU as a whole is one of the world's largest consumer markets. I mean, you have U.S. as far as quantity,
no.
and then you have China, and then you have EU. I mean, those are basically the three largest.
They wanted their own currency. They wanted their own currency.
Yeah, and they have
that failed.
No, the euro works just fine. The euro is accepted
it worked,
across.
But they wanted it to be the global currency.
I know, and how could that be accomplished?
Well, taking over the U.S. dollar.
Actually, and you know what would do that, Lynn? The U.S. pulling out of NATO. We would stop being the world's reserve currency, and the euro could definitely take over.
Maybe you're right about that.
Well,
you know, we haven't quite pulled out of NATO yet.
Yeah, but let's talk about, Lynn. You and I just talk, just in a side chat here, and Jeff can join in as well. And the idea of what happens, we pull out of NATO, so we're no longer a member of that organization. Then immediately we need to close up our bases. And so that means all of our European bases, et cetera, have to be closed. We no longer have the ability to project power over there. And more importantly, the European Union is very likely going to take some economic consequences. And what I mean by that is, do you think that companies like, you know, Apple and Google and other ones like that are going to have such free reign to set up inside of the European Union? Or are they all of a sudden going to be faced with larger taxes, more regulations, more burdens? Or are they just be told to be kicked out? I mean, what about McDonald's? What about
larger taxes, regulations in Europe or U.S.?
In Europe. Because they would leverage that on our companies based on we're there. And here's where things, Lynn, between you, me, Jeff, and the audience, gets really, really scary if we're talking about just dissolving NATO because we are an aggressor against an ally.
We, U.S., cannot dissolve NATO. No. NATO is a combination of all the countries.
Here's the thing.
Wait a minute. Don't interrupt me, please.
Lynn.
NATO is a combination of all the global countries involved in NATO. If we pull out, what will happen?
Lynn, this is what I'm talking about is as soon as we are the aggressor and take aggressive action on an ally, we get kicked out and then NATO...
Aggressive?
Hang on a sec.
What's aggressive? That we pull out? Is that aggressive?
No, excuse me, Lynn. Annexing Greenland. That's the core of this, is that Trump wants Greenland. Annexing Greenland, taking it over, invading it, whatever verb we want to use based on our actions.
He's not going to invade it. He's not going to take it over. All he's going to do is...
Excuse me. I'm going to finish. You asked for space to finish. I'm going to finish here, too. I've very clearly said it doesn't matter what verb you use. But I'm saying taking control of it, however that is accomplished, is likely to dissolve NATO. They may continue without us, but we would be outside.
Guys, I got a solution for all this.
Trump is not going to invade Greenland. He's not going to take it over. So. He will negotiate, and he will make the best deal. And he's not going to say, we're going to pull out of NATO. But he's just, you call him a petulant fifth grader.
Yes, he's a petulant fifth grader.
You know what? Most of the education level of our country now is fifth grade level. I mean, he cuts to the chase. He tells it like it is, and it's very understandable, as opposed to Obama, who would give a 1-hour speech with a lot of rhetoric and fancy words, and I would listen to his speeches and say, what the heck did he just say?
Guys, I've got the solution for all this. Okay, you ready? You ready for this? All right.
I'm ready.
Yeah. We have a mayor here in Denver who believes that illegal immigrants bring about a vibrant and improved community. So, all we got to do is take Mayor Mike Johnston and his big banner that says Denver Hearts Immigrants, just swap it out and write Greenland Hearts Immigrants, put it over there, flood Greenland with illegal immigrants. They all get the right to vote because they could vote with no ID, and then we get to own Greenland.
Boy, you're getting
shot.
Deep in the
no
woods.
shots
you're
fired.
Getting deep in the woods
no
with that
shots
one.
fired.
But
just send Mayor Mikey and the little banner over there.
Trump is not petulant. He comes to the point. He tells it like it is, and he doesn't mince any words.
He's
okay,
a
here it is.
Lynn, I appreciate it. He's a petulant child that got mad at a country because they didn't give him a bauble that they're not responsible for. It's absolutely ridiculous. And where I was going with that at the tail end is the real core danger of pulling out of NATO, dissolving NATO, whatever. The real core danger is what happens when our European allies call in our debt and start dumping our bonds. What happens then? That puts our currency
Bill, don't think rationally.
In a really
think
bad idea.
Like a progressive who loves illegal immigrants. Why don't we just send illegal immigrants over there? Take Americans, send them over there. It's going to make it for a more vibrant community. They get to spend all the money on us, and then we get control. Use the great replacement theory in Greenland.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the facetiousness of that. The problem, again, this is a larger issue that Americans really don't understand, that Donald Trump is threatening an ally. All the stuff that he argues about as far as control and being able to defend already exists because they're an ally. It's not like China and Taiwan. It's completely different, yet he's behaving that it's China and Taiwan. And I do say he is acting like a petulant child. And I am about 50% convinced that the only reason he really wants Greenland is because he doesn't understand how to read a Mercator map.
Bill, I think that the left is acting like petulant children. The same people that would tell you there's no problem at all if a whole millions of illegal immigrants come into our country. It's not going to change anything. Or all of a sudden fighting very hard to preserve the authenticity of Greenland. All right, we'll continue. Let's talk advanced hair restoration. How about a simple New Year's resolution, one that even I could achieve? Reverse the clock on hair loss with Advanced Hair's simple one-day FUE treatment. You'll feel more confident and more youthful when you witness your own natural hair growing into those places that have been balding or thinning for years. From Advanced Hair's breakthrough technology to their highly experienced team, there's no one I trust more in hair restoration. Their simple FUE treatment begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day, and your new hair is backed by the Advanced Hair Guarantee. Simply put, Advanced Hair's exceptional standard of practice and care makes your comfort and your results their top priority. Celebrate the new year with a fuller head of hair. Guys, I've had just about every male in my family has had hair transplants done at some point, and it did change their lives. They look better, they feel better, it brings back energy. So get a free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts. Call 720-459-HAIR. That's 720-459-HAIR. Discover what meeting your resolution could look like with the before and after pictures at advancedhair.com. That's advancedhair.com. Phone line's hot. We'll get to them next. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader News Talk 710 KNUS.
frustrated that the Norwegians didn't give him the Nobel Peace Prize. He says he's no longer thinking about peace. I no longer feel an obligation to think purely of peace, although it will always be predominant, but can now think about what's good and proper for the United States of America. Denmark cannot protect the land from Russia or China, and why do they have a right of ownership anyways? So are what the lefties saying, Bill, is that if the Americans can't colonize Greenland, it's fine for Denmark to colonize it? Are they supporting the colonization of Greenland, but just by somebody else?
Well, if the issue is that it's not yours just because some people showed up with their boats, there are a whole bunch of Native Americans that got a lot of questions. A lot of questions. And that's the asinine position that Trump is taking. The idea that it's not yours because you just showed up on some boats. Excuse me. Do you remember the Mayflower? Did you miss that day in class? Because that was like a bunch of people. And you remember the colonies? They showed up and they did that to kind of,
And they had to fight battles and seize land, and they were conquered. That's how the world works. People conquer other people.
Yeah, and
we're saying, well, it's unfair for America to do this, but Denmark, it's okay for you to conquer them.
So on the Jeff and Bill show at 9:48 in the morning, understand that we've now gotten to the point where the peace president is now takes the moment
president.
of I'm going to be the conqueror, and because I have the force, I can do it. That guy that.
But
I'm
all
about
you're saying
peace
is it's
and I'm
fine
about
if somebody else conquers them, just not America.
No, what I'm saying is the argument that it's not yours just because someone showed up on boats is a really weird thing given the founding of this nation. It's a super weird thing for anyone who claims to be an American to claim is a reason that another country doesn't have a right to that area. Super weird. Maybe he just missed that entire semester in school.
Let's go to the phone lines. David, California. Good morning, David. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
How are you? Yeah, I think you're getting to the root of this. About 150 years ago, 175 years ago now, California gold rush, there were a whole lot of these con artists that would go back east and sell shares in, I got a gold mine here, I got a gold mine there, once you buy some of the shares. So what do you bet Trump is pulling that on Greenland right now, before he even does an invasion? Because if you look at the 34 fraud charges that he was convicted of, much of it had to do with that. Real estate, speculation.
No, it all had to do with checks and Stormy Daniels. What are you talking about?
No, not at all.
The 34 fraud counts? Yeah. Those were
34 convictions, and many of them had to do with frauding the bank, claiming that the land was
I would be willing to invest in Trump Nuke and UK. That's where the next Trump Tower is going to be. That's an easy investment. David, you don't want to make some money?
So that con, and then the other layer of this is he's writing. The NATO countries have got not only a vested interest in American top secrets. We've been sharing top secrets with them. They've been sharing their top secrets with us for 75 years. And all of a sudden, we've got this con artist that's really in bed with Putin. And the Ukraine war is going badly for Putin. And so Trump is doing his best to give Putin a hand. And so he's doing a diversion in Greenland to make NATO start looking the other direction while,
David, you've solved it all for us. It's a Trump-Putin combination relationship. Take over Greenland. It's no longer going to be Trump hotels. It'll be Trump Putin hotels.
David, and thanks for the phone call. There is something there that if we did move on Greenland, it would be the fruition of one of Putin's long-held dreams to basically tear NATO apart and to hurt what has been the most effective treaty.
It's not going to fall apart.
Okay.
It's not. They need us way more. To everything David just said, all the intelligence sharing, all that stuff, they're going to give it up for Greenland.
No, they won't.
Really? You think that Greenland's worth defending so much?
Here's the thing. We already have an agreement to defend Greenland. If
Right.
Russia or
Now we want
China,
it.
if
And we
Russia
want
or
the
China
mineral
showed
rights.
up there today, we would go there. We already can have some of the mineral rights based on agreements there. They're allies. That's the stupid part about this. Trump can get everything he wants by just going through the regular channels, but he can't because he's a giant 5-year-old that runs on emotion and
Billy,
narcissism.
you need to read the book about the art of the deal. This is all Trump negotiating. He's going to end up with such a better deal. I kind of agree with Lynn that at the end of this, I don't think there's going to be conflict or war. There's just going to be a really good deal that benefits America.
Or a lot of our allies looking at us with a side eye and not trusting us anymore. This could have economic consequences
Portugal
for
looks at us with a side eye.
Well, where are you going to go sell your stuff? We got to export, don't we? Where are you going to go sell your stuff?
Well, the debate was fun today. I want to thank everybody that joined us. We are Denver's Top Talk radio show because you get to be a part of the conversation. So if you didn't get in today, join us tomorrow. Debate it up with us. We always love it. It's a ton of fun. We'll be back tomorrow, bright and early, 6 a.m. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
It's Monday. It's snowy. Take care of yourself. We'll see you tomorrow. CanUS.